Welcome to the S.J. Child Show, where a little bit of knowledge can turn fear into understanding. Enjoy the show. Hi, and welcome to the S.J. Child Show. Today, I have Carew Papritz. Did I pronounce that correctly?
We're good.
You know, how is it pronounced so that I know correctly how to say it? I'm very
The accent on the Papritz.
Papritz. Okay,
Papritz.
wonderful.
We got Carew. We're halfway there.
Carew. I love it. And what kind of name is that? It's so interesting.
Carew's an old Welsh name, and then Papritz is the old German name. So it's pretty much it's a mutt name, but it's what you grow up with.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm Irish and I think Basque. So interesting. Mediterranean,
There's romantic.
European people, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today and talking about your exciting adventures, which we'll get to, so you can explain a little bit more about that. But before that, just tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and what brought you here today.
Well, my name is Carew Papritz. As per the introduction, I'm an award-winning author of this lovely book called The Legacy Letters. It's won a number of national awards, which is really great for any author. I've been blessed to been able to do a myriad of book signings and all over the world with this book. I'm also a filmmaker. I worked in the film industry for many years, got out of that, and as a result, I could take my filmmaking abilities and help with the literacy world and getting kids to read and getting excited about it. At the same time, I'm also involved in a thing called Project Gratitude, which I set up a number of years ago to get kids involved in local, regional, and national community projects that get them involved in get them back involved in the community again with real-time projects that make them understand how important community is at all levels. And so that's And as a result of that, we created a thing called National Thank You Letter Day, which we created the world's largest thank you letter, which got us a Guinness World Record, which got us on the Kelly Clarkson show. So there's all these just myriad of things to keep me active and youthful.
I think that the mind is the best place to do that. I mean, of course, staying healthy in your body is fantastic, but from the advice of my 96-year-old grandfather who passed last year, like he was reading and doing, college, kind of little course studies when he was 92. He did not ever stop. He was just kept that brain, and he always told me, you gotta keep gotta keep learning, gotta keep
100%, Sarah. Totally agree with you. Yeah. And I guess with that added caveat, with your wonderful show and the things that you promote, is the idea of not just practicing gratitude, but doing it in all forms, whatever they may be. So that combination, I guess, of being curious and kind really is the fountain of youth.
Oh, isn't that the truth? I love that you said that. Curiosity and kindness. I think those are my two favorite words. I love that so much. That, when you started on this journey, what did that stage of your life look like? What were you going through and kind of decided to take this route?
So you mean the gratitude or just the general,
how about the letter, the book about?
Well, that's an interesting story, because I probably have said this so many times, but if you're going to have a midlife crisis, have it early. So I decided to have mine early. And I was actually working in the film industry. I had gone to UCLA Film School and got out and found myself in all aspects of the film industry, from everything from working on low budget horrors to commercials to actually music videos. Yes, there were music videos back in the day. That shows how young I am. I worked with Madonna and I worked with the Stones. I worked with Marlon Brando. I worked with Johnny Depp. I can drop names because it's so much fun now after so many years away from that.
I love it.
And then I worked on feature films. I got into the big leagues and got my union card. And I began to sort of see the writing on the wall. There was a lot of unhappy people making a lot of money. And I was going, whoa, what is this combination? This doesn't seem to be working for me. And for a kid that was, brought up in the Northwest in the mountains and the outdoors, I was beginning to sort of see the writing on the wall. Like, gosh, am I going to put this part of my life the next 20, 25, 30 years in a place where there was a lot of unhappy people? I said, I don't know. So the long and short of it is I ended up doing what I call a drive about. You know how the Australian Aborigines do a walkabout? Well, I drove around the West. And I didn't know what I was looking for. It was one of those things where I sort of knew I was going to find it once I was there, but it's one of those things where you just throw yourself into the universe and you say, please catch me at some point. And it did. I ended up working. I most interestingly enough, I sort of came back to my roots. My grandfolks had a small ranch. And I had done some cowboy type of stuff when I was younger. And here I was. I ended up becoming a cowboy, a working cowboy on a ranch in southern Arizona in this small town, very, very desolate. And it was there that I picked up the pen again. I had written several books in my younger years. And it became a Walden Pond time period of my life, a reflective period. And for the next 5 years, I worked on the legacy letters. And for your listeners, the basic premise is this is a series of fictional letters written by this father to his kids that he would never live to see. And the letters become their practical, moral, and spiritual guidebook for the rest of their life. And they grow up with these letters and decide they want to give 40 of the over 200 letters to the world. And so that is in this. Here we go. For all of you can see it. Ta-da-da, there it is.
Beautiful.
And it got out into the world. And again, very, very fortunate that it has won the accolades that it has. But I think that the reason for that is it came from a place, a very naked place, because here you are revealing who you are inside these letters as he's revealing himself to his kids about all aspects of life. And so I think that resonated with people as we came out in these book signings and then beyond that. So that's sort of the genesis of the start of all these other things. And here it was, this going out on this ranch. And it's where I met my wife. She came out on a horseback pack trip and I wrangled her and all this good stuff. So yeah, it's a lovely story and a lovely change. And I guess that's one of those things you can say, guys, you can turn 90 degrees and go down another street and all of a sudden, a whole new part of your life opens up.
Mm-hmm. You're never too old to go in a new direction, change things. People get so complacent and it's so sad to see, especially those you love who don't believe that there's more that they could discover and uncover about themselves and the world and everything around them, the community. And I love the community pieces too, because I love building communities. And I think that there's just this togetherness when you can bring people with the same passion for whatever purpose it might be and really see, especially with children. I watched the video where they let the balloons in the air on your reels and I was just like, I'm just smiling from ear to ear and just like makes me like so happy. And it's those types of things those are memories, core memories that these children will have that will help them make decisions in the future of, like basing those things off those core memories of feeling so good and grateful for the situation that they're giving gratitude in. I just love that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially with kids, because of the honesty, because of the authenticity, they're bringing to the game. And And that's why I get such a kick out of working with them, because no matter what it is, they're always game. It's like, oh, he's doing this again. He's doing this. I was, yeah. What do you want to do it? Yeah, let's do it. I mean, just, time and time again. And that type of energy is so infectious. It's so, it just begets itself and begets itself. And then you just want more of it. I guess there's a little bit of addicted to that great kid energy. And it inspires me every single day.
And, I think as an author, I'm also an author, and when you go to the classrooms and things, and they're so excited to meet an author, you're like this mini celebrity in their school. And even though you might just be a mom, or it might, and you just feel like so amazed at their amazement at you. And it really goes to show, they want good role models. They want exciting, happy people in their lives to look up to show them what the next step could be. It's so exciting when that happens. I just love to see their faces when when you're there, and they have such great questions.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. And I saw your books, your lovely kids' books, and for all of you out there, go check them out, folks, because they're bright and they're colorful and they're engaging. They're just anybody who inspires kids in that way, especially through books, especially if you can get them to read, kids to read, which is one of the core parts of becoming educated in life is this primary time to learn how to educate oneself and the joy of reading. And I say the joy because there's a lot of not joy in reading. And that's what I'm trying to bring back is guys, don't kill it in school. Don't kill it with reading all these other books. Give them the choice of this is actually enjoyable. And then from there on out, it's incredible.
Once we can, hopefully, I wish that, literally government would be listening to this. Just say, oh my gosh, we need to make kids' interests the most important thing for them, and kind of thing. Because there's such a power in the kids' empowerment of their own interests, and how curiosity and how much fuel you can give them with those things. And I think that it can be better fostered in so many areas. But of course, with children's books, it's easy to engage them with the bright pictures and the poems and the things that are easier, for them to kind of catch on to. But then we get into more, your style, which is a little bit more, maybe not even, I wouldn't say drama, romance, and maybe drama. I don't know, possibly, right? Yeah, style.
Sure, there's drama. There's entertainment value, right?
Yeah. And that also brings this sense of, which I don't know if my kid guilty. Don't know if my kids really have the sense of this because their reading's a lot different than mine, but that empathy, or that wanting to understand or getting a sense of how somebody else is dealing with a situation and how they're going through it. Mm-hmm. And I think today it's so that gets so lost in the short video form things of how you can express your, people can express these emotions in books differently. And you go through the whole myriad of the expression of the beginning, the middle, and then the end, and how it kind of, plays out. And I think that that's lost a little bit today. And it gives our kiddos a little disadvantage to not gain that perception.
Yeah, boy, it's just while you're saying all that, this whole sort of Rolodex of things and my ideas that are going through my head relative to that. And one of them is of course teaching yourself how to imagine, and what the social media does that I don't think people truly understand is that it's saying, here's the narrative, here's the story, and you're being force-fed the story, and it doesn't have any other way to go except for the way you see it. That's how media works. But a book is entirely different because, of course, you're creating the world inside your head. And it's teaching you that the world has options as opposed to the dogma of a single vision, which is fine. I mean, that has its place in the world, but if you have a full meal of that, then that's all you're getting. And so what you're being taught in a book that people are sort of forgetting, much in the same way that writing thank you letters, and we'll talk about that and the importance of that and the importance of handwriting and things like that, is the engagement with yourself. The engagement with talking to yourself and listening to yourself and then bringing that out into the world. And so I think that's part of the fundamental thing that's being lost. And it's tough to say because I'll tell you what, the silver spoon, and let's do that. There's my teaspoon there. Whoop. Good. There we got the silver spoon. You wagging for, oh, look at it. Look at it. There's a silver spoon. That's much more exciting than, guess what? A book, and people go, oh my gosh, it looks like work. And so that's part of what I feel my job is to get kids back to the idea. And I've tried to do it in sort of a sneaky way with these I Love to Read videos. And I hope you had a chance to take a look at some of them because that's been fun getting kids back on the horse, so to speak.
Yeah, it's so important to kind of give them direction. You point them in the right direction and say, okay, let me see where you're going to go with that. And to watch them come up with the things that are important to them, the things that make the world look special to them. It's so different sometimes than we would expect, even with our own kids, like, well, what did you think about this? And they will give some completely different answer. And I was like, well, that's a whole nother perspective that I didn't even perceive.
I love
and
that.
Now, thank you.
Yeah.
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 No,
go ahead. I'm sorry. After you.
Oh, no, you go. You're good.
No. So back to this I Love to Read series that I started. And the reason I started it was I was trying to come up with a way to sort of lead them down the garden path with YouTube videos, because that's all they want. Oh, YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. What if we did something with an author doing something in a YouTube video that was completely different than anything they've seen before? So what I would do, the first one I ever did is you take the book like this, and I'm on the back of a horse. It's the horse I used to cowboy off of, his name was Boots, big old tall son of a gun. And I said, all right, I got to bring the book back here. And I would say, turn the pages as the camera's rolling. You know what? I love to read and I love to ride. And I spur the horse and off we go. And the horse farted. I mean, the biggest fart on the camera you could imagine. And I was like, seriously? Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. So I said, all right, let's do another take. Did the second take, even a bigger, like the horse knew he was on camera, right? Third time, not only was big, it was long, it was dramatic. The fart just, and as I galloped off, it was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Wait a second. Kids will flip over this. This thing will go viral. Well, I don't know, viral, I don't know, 20 or 30,000 views, whatever. But they flipped over it and they thought it was hilarious. So I've done these I Love to Read videos, not only on horseback, I've done them while on a rafting trip. I've done them in front of the Statue of Liberty. I've done them I've done them on glaciers. While playing putt-putt, you name it. I've done all these things. Okay, so you go, why do you do this? Because teachers and educators and parents can get their little primer sheet out and go, why is this guy doing this? Well, he's an author. Is this what authors do? That's what this author did. Now, all of a sudden, you're starting to beg the question, right? And it starts you start to pull on the sweater, and the sweater unravels, and it becomes a whole new sweater. And it's remarkable because they're like, well, that's cool, but where's that at? How does he bop? And we've generated discussion all over the idea of a book and being outside. And that's the other thing. It's always outside because I love being outdoors.
Yeah.
So we've got now 2 million plus views, 10,000 subscribers. Hey, I got to tell you something really funny. We did one in Chicago this last year, for those of you who don't know, there's a famous sculpture there called the Bean. It's a huge, gigantic, reflective sculpture, and it's renowned, and you'll see it with every tourist thing. You look up Chicago, there it is. So my son and my wife are my directors and cinematographers. So there I pull out the book, and they go, "Oh, it's the time to do it. I love to read. We do it. I love to read in Chicago, and I love to be there in front of the Bean, and we're talking, da da da." And this group of teenage boys, they're walking behind me, and I thought, oh, they're going to photobomb me or something, but they don't. They just walk behind like they're just sort of being goofy, but they're not doing anything stupid to interrupt the deal. And at the end of the little short intro that I do, I told my son, with like, keep rolling. So he does, and the guys come over to me, and we caught it, and they go, "Well, what are you doing? Who are you?" "I'm an author." "An author? What have you written?" "Okay. Well, what's this all about?" He says, "Oh, I've got a YouTube series called I Love to Read." He goes, "Really?" He says, "Yeah." "How many subscribers do you have?" Like, you're laying down the gauntlet. I go, "Oh, I don't know. 9,000, 10,000. The kid goes, "That's legit." And he says, "You've got 15 more subscribers now." And I thought, there it is. That's legit. There it is. That's all I need. Now I've been legitimized. Why? Because I'm on YouTube.
There you go.
No, but right in their world, like, that's cool. I want to know more. All right, I'll take it.
Oh, that's so fantastic. I love that. I love that you got that interaction and got to
That's legit.
Keep a piece of that. Yeah, right. You're like, I have proof.
Oh my gosh. That's all it took. All right. I'm in.
Let's talk about the thank you letters, because that's something I think is so special. And I think we need reminders in our life of things that we know are good, then we forget and get on with it or do things in our lives. So I love that we're going to talk about this, because I think it'll be a good reminder for me of that, this importance of this.
Yeah. So thank you letters. So this started out, of course, in writing the legacy letters. These are letters from his father to his kids. And I began to understand the importance of letters, the immediacy. And one of the most fascinating things that came about from the writing of the book was the power of letters. Now, because, what's the power of letters? No, it's more than that. When you write a letter, you're doing more than just an email or text, which is so instantaneous, which is so easy to do. It takes time to write a letter. So if the greatest gift in our life is the time that we're given in this world, then the writing of a letter is actually putting into the paper with pen, and the time you are giving to somebody else. And that is what people receive when they receive a letter or a thank you letter or a love letter. They're receiving the time. You're giving them the gift of your time.
Yeah.
And everyone understands that. It's so amazing. It's so, and you're giving, and if you write it out, even though it's chicken scratch and people are like, I can't write anymore, guess what? You will hold on to that letter, that thank you, whatever it may be, for the rest of your life, because no one, A, does it anymore, and B, it's the humanity of that person, the personality. It's real. It's as real as you get to holding a piece of that person next to being there. I mean, you can do videos and all that, but there's something about that document. It's a document, right? I mean, think about that. We don't even talk about that in terms of that. So how did this all come about? I was teaching a cursive writing course at our son's elementary school, and back to the legacy letters, I was reading from it and some lines, and there's a very simple letter for how to say please and thank you. Okay, what's that all about? Well, I wrote some of the lines on the board, and all of a sudden, this idea popped in my head. Because why? Because the kids are like, oh, falling asleep. Like, yeah, I know it's cursive. I know. And I'm trying to make it exciting, but there's a little bit of work involved. And I said, hey, what do you guys think about creating the world's largest handwritten thank you letter and making it the size of a football field? And they're like, oh, Mr. Papritz, oh, that's great. Oh, we love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, what did I just say? Oh my gosh. And these kids are used to me coming up with these wild ideas and they're on board. But this one, I was like, holy mackerel. Well, guess what? We did it. We created the world's largest handwritten thank you letter, the size of a high school basketball gym. It took over 30 rolls of butcher paper. I think it took 50 pizzas. It took like 1,300 cookies because this is fuel. I don't know. I forgot how many. We had rolls of tape, like 117 rolls. We literally put it together. We wrote out the letter, and an interesting part of that, I tried to write this letter. I'm an author. I'm special. I can write. I can do it. I can write a kid's letter. Right? So I got my inner kid, my inner fourth grader. I'm like, I wrote it. And it's like, this is a piece of garbage. This is a guy trying to write a thank you letter, pretending like, no. So I go back to him and say, guys, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write what you're thankful for. I don't care what it is. You can be thankful for your parents, you thankful, whatever it is. Just come back and write a whole bunch. They came back.
Right?
we took the best lines and put them in this letter, and that's what you read on there. So we did this letter, and then all of a sudden this other idea popped out. Well, my gosh, we're going to do this. Then what are we going to do with it? Well, we created National Thank You Letter Day. It's on November 14th, right in the middle of the month of thanks. And so that was how we started National Thank You Letter with the world's largest handwritten thank you letter. All 600 kids at the school signed it, the teachers, the administrators, people from the community. So it was this big folderol. And Sarah, the biggest question people ask is, well, what do you do with the world's largest handwritten thank you letter? You have to send it. Next year, we created the world's largest envelope, world's largest stamp. Postmaster came, stamped it. We put it through the mail system, sent it to our sister school. I'm going to tell you, taking the world's largest letter and all that, it is a paper burrito, 25 feet long, 3 feet high. It took 20 plus kids to carry it out on their shoulders. Go to nationalthankyouletterday.com. You can check it out. And we got the Guinness World Record for it. And as a result, we got on the Kelly Clarkson show. She loves letter writing. And the postmaster gave to all our kids. She purchased herself 600 postcards for the kids to write thank you notes to whomever they wanted. And I received one. My wife and I received one from our son. And I was like, oh my gosh. And there it was, the thank you note. And he said something to the effect of, dear Mom, Papa, I thank you for something like, thank you for letting me be in this family. I mean, yeah, you were born into it. So, okay. Thank you. I love what we do, so on and so forth. And I wish this card was bigger so I could write more love and then his name. And it was like, wow. And I'm going to carry that to my dying day. It's like, and there it is, a document that says at the moment this true feeling of gratitude. And ever since that, I think we're into our 9th year of doing this and trying to get the word out in a big way. The importance of writing thank you letters. One year we did it to our local, not just first responders, but people in our community, like the garbage men and the people at the checkout stands and doctors, dentists, and everything. And so they came to the school and picked up these letters that the kids wrote. So once again, this sort of involving the kids and seeing what it's like. And I got one last thing, Sarah. When I go down in the grocery store at our local, in our town, and one day, this kid, he's come by and he looks up and he waves to me. He goes, hey, Mr. Big Letter, how are you? And he goes to his mom, that's the guy. That's the Big Letter guy. I'm putting it on my gravestone. I'm the Big Letter guy. Come on. How good is that? The Big Letter guy. Oh, yeah. Bring it on.
No, I love it so much. Absolutely. Yeah. That's so special. I was just like, imagine my creative mind was going the whole time. I was envisioning myself there. It was all just fantastic. And that is the magic of storytelling, isn't it? Is when you can engage any listener to want to know more, be excited about the information they're getting, and then further that with following up, of course. And with that, where can we go to find all of these wonderful things?
Yeah. And again, for me with the kids, it's this, not only were they part of something exceptional, a moment in time, but it's like, well, that was fun. Oh my gosh. It's fun to be nice. It's fun to have gratitude. It's fun and even writing a thank you letter. Wow. Okay. We can write thank you letters. And boy, if you start with that good feeling right from the genesis of who they are as kids, and the other part of it too, Sarah, is that I think is critical, because people say, oh, I try to do thank you letters with my kids. And I go, you got to walk your talk. You got to sit down and say, hey, we're going to write a thank you letter because if it's Christmas, that's always a good reason, or whatever the case may be. Or I'm sitting down to write a thank you letter to grandma for coming over, or someone who brought a pie. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff off the top of my head. The veterinarian that took care of our dog. Let's write a thank you letter. Or are you going to write one, Mom? Are you going to write one, Dad? Dads, come on. Everyone's on board. We all got to walk our talk on this. So show them. It doesn't have to be this belabored, horrific thing where, oh my God, I'm going to sit down and write a thing. No. Watch how quickly it is. Watch how quick it. No. You write this. Thank you so much. They're going to love it. And then you can deliver it in person, but it's really, really cool to get it gift wrapped in an envelope and a stamp. Yeah, it takes a bit of work, but guess what? People understand that. They understand the effort it goes more than ever. More than ever, they understand that effort. And when they receive it, they're shocked. They're shocked. And it makes an impact on people, right? Yeah. Absolutely. The impact of gratitude. Wow.
100%. 100%. It can go so far. I had a memory popped in my mind of a time where I had gone to visit my dad, and I left a bunch of little sticky notes, thank you sticky notes and things in hidden places all over the house, so that, when I was gone, he'd go back and find all these little notes that,
that is so cool.
I know. And he still has them up like years and years later. So I'm so thankful for that. Wow, what a neat memory to get, a little download.
But so simple, right? Such a simple act. And I think that's what people forget. Like, you don't have to do this over the top social media performance act for it. It is that simple, and people recognize the power of that simple act. I mean, it really is. And again, it's taking the effort. For years, I did a Valentine's Day series of shows or interviews on how to write the perfect Valentine's Day letter. And the biggest one was, the simplicity of doing it, of going to your printer, grabbing a piece of white paper, sitting down, saying, dear, and then write 3 things that's your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whomever does for you throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year, that are just simple acts of love. They can be like, oh, honey, I like the way you change the oil and read to the kids at night, or, the way you take care of the plants, or, I don't know, it could be any number, just snow plow the yard, or put up the Christmas tree decorations. It could be anything like that. And then you sign it love, and then and you put in the gift wrapping of the envelope, and you give it to somebody, and people are always stunned. So I was doing it once again back up at school with our lovely inspirational kids, telling them about this whole thing, because I just got off doing talking about these love letters. And I said, hey, what if I said, girls in class, how many of you would like to receive a love text, a romance text, a romance email? I shouldn't even say email, because then that dates myself. Or a love letter on paper. And I said, how many of you like to receive a text, the love letter? All of their hands went up. And then I was like, and then I went to the boys and I did the same. And they, of course, now that they're following, they're like, oh yeah, well, I'll send a little bit. Comes to the end of class and I say, hey, what you guys have any questions about any of this stuff? And this kid in the back pipes up goes, hey, Mr. Papritz, when can we start learning how to write these love letters? The kid got it. He saw the girls with their hands up. He's like, I'm on this gravy train. I'm on this love train. What? He was all, wow. Caught on. Like he saw hands up, step equals, yeah, I'm on board. There it is.
I love that. Oh,
yeah. And so,
like
we did last year, and I think, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, we have a little delay. I was just gonna tell me what you did last year. This is exciting.
Well, no, because I love the idea of you're putting the Post-its up around the house and the thing. It just is such a beautiful idea. Somewhat similarly, we did something last year where I said, hey, why don't we write thank you letters to people in our lives that we haven't seen in forever? That were mentors that did something special for us. There were several people in my life. One was the bookmobile lady that came by and brought books to me. I haven't tracked her down yet. I don't even know if she's still alive. And the other one was the gal at the ranch that hired me. She owned the ranch, and she passed away last year. I thought, oh, that's a bummer. I should have written that letter of thanks. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write it to her daughter. So as a gauntlet to lay down for some people out there, think about those people in your life. So powerful. If they received this letter out of the blue that said, thank you for turning me on to X, Y, or Z. Thank you for making me realize whatever my life. One simple act. Doesn't have to be big, long. It could be one page. You get it to them, you will blow them away. They'll be moved to the end of days.
Yeah. What I was going to say was that in the simplicity of just, like you said, it doesn't have to be, this long double page, double spaced, you just write things from your heart, write things people see and know honesty and authenticity, and they crave that. I think that they really do, and they really
so well put.
Yeah. And I think that being a part of something like that is so magical, and for adults and especially for children. So bravo for all of your creative, amazing work you're doing with the universe of people.
Thank you, Sarah. I get as good as I get, and I think that's the best part of it, especially with the kids. They just they eat it up, and I mean that's not a hard lift at all to do that because of what they get and what they bring back. Oh, I mean, are you kidding, Mr. Big Letter? I'm there.
Right. So what's up next? What's up next? What do we get to see?
Oh, wow. Let's see what's coming up next. Oh, we're trying to see about bringing the Big Letter to Washington, D.C. and putting it out on the National the National Mall for National Thank You Letter Day. So we're trying to do that because I really, I would love to get this out in an even bigger way. I mean, Kelly Clarkson was wonderful, but we need to bring it out every year because I think if it gets into schools, it gets into parents, and they see, hey, this is a lovely way in the month of thanks. We're actually, what we're going to start doing is calling it National Thank You Letter Month, as opposed to just the day, because you get day, it's here and gone. But if we're doing it during Thanksgiving, then we can incorporate Veterans Day, send a letter to your vets. When family members come over for Thanksgiving, we can do this. So it's very practical things of how to do that. And the more we take the thank you letter out of its old-fashioned idea and it's a timeless idea. It is as powerful as please and as thankful as thank you in our lives. And it doesn't require a whole heck of a lot to pull off. But what it does is it reconnects us in our shared love of kindness our shared love of gratitude, our shared love of civility. And these are some of the central tenets of writing a thank you letter. And the more of that we put out there, locally, regionally, nationally, around the world, it just adds, it sort of pushes back against the turmoil out there, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, and
Yeah,
we
and kids
really,
get it.
that's what we're striving
Kids
for.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so every little bit is every act of kindness is that. And I think if we teach our kids like why, and when they ask the question, why do I have to do that? Have the answer in response. Like, would you like to receive one of these? Wouldn't that be cool to get that in the mail, or whatever the response should be, not just because this is the way it's done. It's like, nah, who wants to hear that? Right. Yeah. No, because it's cool. It's fun. It really is. And you'll put a smile on someone's face. How about that? Would you rather put a frown or a smile? Oh, I want to put a smile. Great. Guess what? Here it is.
Yeah.
I like that
Simple.
idea. Let's run with that. Yeah.
I love that.
Simple.
So wonderful. What is your website, and where can people go, and social medias, and be able to support and follow you? And
social media. Oh, you look up Carew Papritz on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, X. The Legacy Letters is probably the best place, legacyletters.com, to check out the book and a bit of what we're doing. But Facebook seems to be rock and rolling these days with we're trying to keep that going. As you well know, that is a art form to keep your social media up and running.
Right?
Yeah, Carew Papritz
and
thelegacyletters.com. You surprised me. That's great. I saw that.
I
of
put
course,
an extra
Amazon.
space in there.
Amazon does have
and Amazon. Whoops. I almost put the wrong one there.
Sarah, I got a cool thing for you.
Oh, it still didn't.
I got a cool thing for you.
Funny. Tell me.
I was looking at one of the letters here in the book, and I thought it might be appropriate. It's called Starting the Day. I can read a passage from it if you'd like.
Please.
Because it has a bit of gratitude infused inside of it.
There we go.
All right. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. He does not know the name of his kids. He will never know the name, and that's one of the sort of the sad parts of this, but he calls them little ones. So he says, "Good morning, little ones. I woke up this morning to the door wide open. I must not have closed it all the way last night. Lucky me, because I'm watching from my bed a most amazing theater. The falling of the biggest, fattest, slowest snowflakes I have ever seen, lazily lazy like feather elephants, elegantly dawdling on their way to work." And he goes, "Autumn, from rainstorms to sunshine to snowfalls and back again. Why do you think your old man loves this season so much? Look at the layer of frost on my blanket and thick enough to scrape ice doodles on it. I sure hope the coals in the stove are still hot." And he says, "Thank God for being alive this morning." And he says, "Starting the day, another chance to be new again. How many of us still wish for that? To be your own sunrise, to awaken like a prayer, both solemn and joyful at still being alive. Sometimes we make being happy so difficult and being thankful such a chore. Starting the day like a job we hate, beginning it like swallowing 10 tablespoons of devil-made cough syrup, because somehow along the way we forget that being alive and healthy and happy are noble goals or just good ideas. And then the opposite of being alive is being dead. What a choice. So open the day like a Christmas present waiting, or a puppy needing petting, or a new kiss a wanting. Open the back door, step out on the porch, and greedily suck in some new air from this new day. It's free, and there's lots of it. Start with a brand new good morning to your husband or wife, to your kids, to those you work with or don't work with. What's the harm? How difficult is it? And it isn't. And you know it. So do it and make it a habit. As hokey as it may sound, you have it good. You just have to remember how good.
I love that. What a wonderful way to kind of remember that we each make our own choice to be the hero or the victim of our own stories. My husband loves to say, do you want to be the hero or the victim today? So be your own hero.
What a choice. What a choice. Start the day. Yeah, hero.
Right?
Okay, sounds good. No,
I
I
love
really
it.
want to be the victim, honey. No, seriously, I do. That sounds really great. Yeah, right.
I know. He's the right one. Well, that's why I married him, of course.
There we go.
Such a great experience and wonderful conversation with you today. I look forward to staying in touch, and
Absolutely, Sarah. Thank you.
we're not that far away as in neighboring states either. So if we ever cross paths, that's wonderful.
I would be honored. I would be honored. Thank you for having me on your show. It's wonderful. Thank you for all the amazing work you're doing out there. It's really something. I always do my research before I get on a show, and I was like, whoa, this is really cool. I can't wait to talk with this person, because she's got a lot on the go, a lot of good giving in the world. So I'm glad to add to that by being on the show. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, I am really looking forward to staying in touch. And again, thank you so much for your time today.
All right, Sarah. Thank you again. Thank you to all you out there. Take care.